Hello. I had to scroll down to find a message. I wish we had a feature on OBS. Maybe we do. I just don't know that it exists. To just pin a permanent message. It lets me pin a message until I unpin it, but it still isn't there when I open it again. Why is that not a thing? Why do I not have the ability to just keep a message pinned on my Twitch chat? I don't know if that's Twitch or OBS. I think it might be a Twitch problem. Not gonna lie. But I always have to scroll down and find like my try and find like a message to pin. It's very annoying. But we got it. We got it up. I feel like I need to pin something every stream. Otherwise we're just kinda like I don't know. Feels like I need that there. You know, especially when there are drops on. 'Cause I feel like a lot of people have no idea how drops work and they're like the first drops that they're doing. And I'm always conscious that they're gonna ask and I'm gonna have no idea what to say. And I'm like, what do I say? What do I say? How do I help? I'm never the best at helping. I always get confused. I'm like, I don't even know myself. I just watch, you link your account, and they're there. That's the most I could say. So I never have a clue. Never have a clue what I'm doing. Anyway, I don't currently have honey lures, which is a problem. So unless anyone joins the stream and wants to do it with me, we don't have honey lures yet. So I think we're gonna go see if I can buy some and see if I can make some. I'm not sure if I can. I don't think I have a lot of apples, but we can try. We can try. That's gonna be like a problem. I can try and request some too, maybe, perhaps. Perhaps I do that now. Let's see. Maybe like just do this. See if I can request them. I do not think we're gonna have anyone give me them because I don't think many people want to give them away, but I'll do it anyway. Do it anyway. I'll keep it up so I can see if anyone does. We might get lucky. I don't know. Someone might have like 100 of them, but right now I have none. Obviously, I think I have a few medals, so we can go buy some, if not at least one. But I need to get rid of all of those tomatoes, and then we can plant apples again. So then we might be able to make them. But I don't like using apples for lures. It just feels very like wasteful. Like I could be making money, right? But money or plushies, I don't know which one I want more. I think I want plushies more, to be honest. So maybe we should be focusing on that. Maybe I should just be using them for that. But it's like a big money maker. And I don't feel like if I use them on like trying to find plushies instead, I have no money. Like the frogs only get you so much money, right? But they do bring happiness. So got that out with the options. It kind of sucks. I wish it was something else you could use, like just like a fruit or something. Like I feel like that would work a little bit better. But it's like I don't really do anything with blueberries. I do turn them into is it seeds or is it jams? I can't remember. I do when I have them. I don't have any right now, I don't think. But they're not as like I don't want them as much as I do apples. So it's like let me use my blueberries for something. Something like that. Or like I feel like tomatoes would be a good one honestly because it would actually be easier. They're easier to grow. I think apple trees take like a good couple of days to fully grow, and then it takes a good couple of days to then regrow. I think I'd rather use tomatoes. Tomatoes are like one of the best things because I use them for seeds as well. Yeah, right now we have. I don't think I have any. Let's go see. Let me just see how many. Okay, we can get actually 2. No, we can't. Is it? I think it's 75 medals for a lure. So that's just great, isn't it? That's amazing, isn't it? Like I have 145 coins. That means I can only buy one, right? Or is the math not mathing? I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. But we can at least go buy one. And then maybe we'll be okay to just like run around and find them. And if anyone wants to join, then we can just use everyone else's lures instead. Like the last time we were hunting for them. We used everyone else's and I felt terrible. But we have no money right now. I have no money. I have like... We have less than half gold cap. I don't like that. That number is way too low for me right now. So we need to just start making money again. Find all the plushies we can find. I just need to do it. I need to do it. And I'm like, going to put it off again. And I'm going to be upset that I have no money. So I think I need to log on even when I'm not streaming and just water my plants. I should be doing that. That should be a daily occurrence. And it's not right now, which is really bad. So I need to start doing that. Oh, this looks like it's glitched. It's not showing my pet in my inventory. It's just showing like a paw print. Okay. What relic do I have on before we even start? One, interact with forage, insects, fish, and huntable creatures that use stuff. Yeah, okay, I think that's the one we're gonna use. So that's fine. And I think I just wanted to check. How much essence do I have now? Okay, we're back up to 14,000, so that's not bad either. I don't think I can actually make any lures. No, I can't. I have no seeds. No seeds, no apples. No apples. I think we put them in for seeds as well so that I can plant them. So we might... I'm not sure how this is going to work. Let me get the game up. Hope we can figure this out. I put them in 2 of these. So we have that. That. Did I do 3? Yeah, I did. Maybe I should have done 2. But it's okay. Let's water these and try and get rid of them. What time is it? Quick. I think it's still 6. No. It's nearly 6. I need these gone. Go, go, go. Oh my god. The anxiety of it. I need them watered now. Oh my god, am I gonna do it? Am I gonna do it? Am I gonna do it? I did it. Oh no, it's almost 6. I do it every time. I do it every time I water plants. I water them just before it goes 6, which you would think that it's not a bad thing, right? You think, oh, that's fine, because that means they're gonna grow 2 seconds later. But I don't realize it. And I like don't water them quick enough. That's why it's a problem. But we did it. We did it. Okay. We're trying to get rid of all the tomatoes. Because I need to start planting apples again. I have way too many tomatoes now. I don't... I don't need these. We need money. I need money. I don't need tomatoes for the money. I'm out of money. It's not good. It's not good. And we have no apples, so I cannot make any lures, and I can only buy 1. I tried to request them, but I doubt I'm gonna get any of them. We'll have to see. I put mine in the worm farms. I turn them into seeds. I turn mine into seeds. But wait. Wait. Where is it? We have apples. I have 154 blueberries right now. I think... Do they do better in seeds or like... What? And sell the worms? I put meat in there. Like when we do like hunting and stuff, I always get loads of meat. I'm almost never out of meat. And I put them in the worm farm and turn them into glowworms and then sell the fertilizer as well because I don't need that much fertilizer. I turn potatoes into seeds. What do the potatoes sell for? What am I looking for? Where am I in here for? Oh wait, I was supposed to look to see what they sell for. 224 versus 224 versus 59. Wait, I should be turning them into seeds. God damn. Okay, we'll do that. Wait, how many do I need for it though? Is it like a lot? 4 versus 1. Wait. Is it better for seeds or is it better for jams? It's actually better for jam. By like not much, but it actually is. I think it's like, it said 59 for jam and it's only 1 for jam? Is it? Did I get that wrong too? Yeah, it is. Yeah, okay, it's better to actually do this. Better to do this. Let's get them all out of the way. They've just like, hello? Sorry, I hadn't yet a phone call. Don't worry about it. You're all good. Wait, do I have seeds? Hang on. Do I have any more seeds? I don't want to use them all. I don't. Oh my god, okay. You can stay in there, but I need some of these back. I need some of them back. Is what better than jam? So I think I've looked and it's like 1 blueberry per jam versus 4 blueberry for a seed. And it's 59 for 1 jam. So it works out better to do jam than seeds for blueberries. So that's what I'm doing right now. Because I need to get rid of things. We have space, I know. Like, we have space now. But I need to, like, start making money. So I need to just start doing everything. And right now, I can plant the trees, but... yeah, let's just plant them. I feel like I need them. Might get turned into jams. Yeah, I was going to turn them into jams, but I was like, hang on. Someone said certain things are better as seeds, and I couldn't remember which ones they were. I was like, let me check. But yeah, they are better as jam. Okay, let's put these down. And then there's a couple of things sorted out. Thankfully. Okay. What are these? And then we can try and come back every time it's like 6 AM so that I actually get these done. We kind of need them. Okay. That's that done. The only thing we need to do is check all these little things now. Nope, got a bad one. Oh, let's fill this back up. And then... that's that too. We have like half storage right now. This is like mad weird. I've never had this much storage before. Like what? Okay, we can actually put... I've just realized I can put things back in my chest. I didn't think of that. Let's make some light bulbs. I didn't think about it. I was like, oh, why do I have everything still in here? Like, I literally have half the storage available. Okay. So we now know what we have because I've had all of that stored in there the whole time. Did I not have anything stored in these ones? Or am I going crazy? Oh yeah, we got rid of stuff, didn't we? We sold some stuff. A little bit annoying because I could have kept things, but I wouldn't have been able to really stream. So, let's just put these back in. They don't need to be in here now. I have so much more storage now. It's so much better. I have heard people say they actually do make do beans for money now. I'm not sure how true that is. But apparently it's a thing. I mean, a starred one sells for 34. And the seeds themselves are 90. Not terrible. Not terrible. Probably should be doing that. But we'll look into that. I'll do my apples for now. Wait. Oh, I was like, it didn't spawn anything. Hello? Gold? Nice. Helium? Okay. Okay. Actually gave me something I need. Actually gave me something I need. Okay. Pop those in there. And we have quite a lot of storage still. So we're actually not going to be too bad today. Which is nice. And I'm going to go trade in the... Not trade in. I'm going to go put the second to last relic in. And then we only have one left. Just one. Which is so nice. I remember when we were like a couple weeks back, we literally just had... We had nothing. Everyone was like, oh, I'm done. And I'm like, I haven't even started yet. Now we have one left. This is so good. Which one is it? This one? Nope, it's the first one. It's this. Which gives me 5. Can I buy any of these then? I can. Okay, so I think... Is that all of them? I have like more, so I must be able to buy something else. 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I think I might have like one. I have one more to do. But now we have all these recipes to do too. Which gives me something to do. Finally gives me like, we need that. We need that. Although I can make this. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. I can't make this one yet because I need pallium. And we don't have much pallium. So we'll leave that one for now. But I'm pretty sure that's like the last thing I need to do is like that. And then maybe one more because I still have some stuff. And then we need to go find Arnie. Wait, he doesn't spawn here, right? Just before I go. No, okay. So we need to go to Kilima. Okay. And I'm gonna see. I have 145 medals. So I think I'm gonna buy one low, which is very annoying, but I just got a stupid lamp thing to upgrade. I think I have that to make. I don't even think I've made it yet. I might have made it. I might have made it. I'm not too sure if I've made it or not. I'm not too sure. We also have like some more quests to do as well, but I think we're gonna just try and do frogs because I really, really want to. And yesterday we didn't have much luck, so. Tony. Tony. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Now we can do a little bit more than we were gonna do. Now we should have 3. Oh, we need 5 for another one. Thank you, though. I appreciate that. You still have 49. Everyone seems to have stuff left over. I was one of the unfortunate people that used every single one of my lures for the frogs. For some reason, I was just like, I'm gonna use them all. And no one else used them. Until you guys showed up and then used all yours. And now you still have some. I don't know how you guys have loads. Tellboy. Hello. How you doing? Tony's the cheat code. Tony is the cheat code. You have enough to make 38? That's insane. We can't buy apples, right? Like, we can't buy them. Or can we? I feel like I'm seeing, like, items that are not there. If we can buy apples, I might go and buy some. Wait, how many is this? Okay, we'll do that. There was a glitch with gold mining nodes. Was there? I missed those glitches of the weekend. And I kind of regret it. I'm gonna buy some more of these because we're gonna be using them. I'm just gonna buy them. I like having things in rows, but... Wait, let's sell these. I don't need these. Okay. I missed, like, the fishing glitch. What was the fishing glitch? I think I missed something like that. I saw people in, like, Bahari, like, fishing like crazy and, like, leveling up every 2 seconds. So I don't know what that was. I'm just literally gonna fill every slot. with these. I feel like all the glitches definitely happen on the weekend. There we go. You needed a friend on another server and someone on the server you found the gold nut. Why is that so complicated though? That's very complicated. That sounds like the kind of thing that I just wouldn't do just because I didn't know how, you know? Okay, let's organize this because it's gonna give me anxiety if I don't. Okay. Now we can go do that. But I don't know, do we actually like, can we buy seeds? Not seeds, can we buy apples? Like just apples. Why do I feel like we used to be able to, but now we can't? That's very confusing. Wait, I'm gonna talk to her real quick so she like stops having that other head. I don't need to see this. I already know what she's telling me. But now it's disappeared, which is so much better. You would mine the node, hop to another server, then go back, and the node would still be there. That sounds... After a while, despot. That sounds terrible, though. Like, I don't think that sounds fun. The frog thing was just, like, put a lure down and just, like, go havoc. But that... That sounds kind of... I don't like it. That doesn't sound good. That sounds like it's... It's, like, tiresome. Right? Oh, I didn't mean to ask that. Oh, we can't buy apples? Why can we not buy apples? That's just like... That's ridiculous. Why? Oh my god, I don't think I've heard that one before. Yeah, that one doesn't sound as fun as the frogs. But I mean, if you got a load of gold out of it, fair enough. But yeah, I think right now I think I have gold. I have gold and I have like everything to make the lures, but I just don't have the apples. That's the annoying bit. I managed to mine node 5 times before I despawned. Ooh. Okay, that actually seems kind of worth it. But I just don't have the patience to go back and forth. I don't know if that's just me. I just feel like I just don't have that in me. Hi, DJ. Thank you for the look. I appreciate it. I hope you're having a good day. I had over 60 gold from what? From one? You got lucky with that. I would have gotten like 20 out of that. They did give me like 1. Literally would have. Oh, I love the look. Like, it's so cute. I forgot I did that. It's hot here and I still have a lot of work, but other than that, I'm good. How about you? It's honestly kind of hot here too. I have a cardigan on, but it's 21 degrees right now. It always seems to be a little bit hotter by you though. But yeah, I've had a good day. Had a good day. Been chill. I played Valorant this morning, which was... I don't do that very often right now. I kind of just like avoid Valorant, but I played the other day and I was like, I'm in the mood. I'm in the mood to keep playing. Wait, 27? That has to be like a heat wave, right? That has to be a heat... That would be a heat wave over here, like, definitely. Okay, we don't need to do those for a little while. Did we go and do the bugs and just see if we can get, like, more medals? Not sure. We had 32 last week. 36 next week? Oh my god. I thought 20 was hot. To me, like, anything over 15 is, like, hot to me, so, like... I don't know. Anything, like, over 15 is summer. And it's not even summer yet. It's literally spring. Like, we're in a drought. It's ridiculous. It just go down. I hope it... Oh. Yeah, I feel like I can handle, like, 15 to 20, and then above 20, it starts to get way too hot. Hopefully the weather have mercy. Hopefully it does. Hopefully it doesn't treat you too bad. I mean, people are like, we complain about, like, the weather being bad over here, but, like, when it's hot, we complain, so it's like, you know, I just want a good, like, 20 degrees all the time would be nice. It's not too hot, And then when it goes to night, you can sleep. When it's too hot, that it's that hot at night, it's just ridiculous. I can't sleep when it's like that. But I thought they updated these. We've already seen these. So we don't need to look at that. I think we'll start off with just wandering around. And if anyone wants to join and has like more lures, we can do that. But I think we'll try and just find the frogs without the lures for a little bit. So that we have the lures at some point in the stream. I don't know what, ooh. Should I be eating food so that I can get medals? Maybe I should have done that. But now I'm already fast traveled. What level am I right now? 117. Is it harder to level up when you like get higher level, or is it easier? Let's go see what food I have, because I haven't eaten food in so long. Go home. Do this every time. I'm like, oh, I should probably go back and do this. Why don't I just do it when I'm there? Every time. I just think like if I'm trying to get medals, I should probably be eating something. But I also, do I have tickets? Maybe I should go buy food from the market. I don't know if there's anything to buy that's worth it. Now that I have like a high focus. Not sure if I should bother. We'll see. I'll see how much I have. So I should have like 2k tickets, I think. No, 1.1. Yeah, that's not the best, but it might be something I can get. Okay, what do I have? 600, 700. Okay, we'll take these. And then we have some food, right? Just so that like we actually get something out of the hunting. Because like usually I wouldn't be too annoyed with it, but when I need the lures, it's like, you know, like I don't bother eating anything now when I go hunting. But when I did it again. I did it again. Wait, I can't use this with just money, can I? I forgot we were hunting last night. Okay. I'm fed up of going back home, so I'm just gonna like go and pay for it instead. For a lot of people, it gets easier to farm frogs. Yes. Yes. I'm gonna see if anyone wants to join throughout the stream, but we're gonna wander around and just like go and pick them up and find like the piles and things. And then once stream has gone on for a little bit, maybe we'll have a couple of people and we can go do it together. Especially like the more people that are doing it together, the more lures you're gonna have and stuff too. It just makes more sense. Also, oh wait, I want to change my outfit. I know we're frog hunting, but I want to change. We do this? We do this maybe? I feel like we do. But yeah, we're gonna see if anyone wants to join. And then if they do, more the merrier. But for now, we need to do some other things while we're at it. So we'll go do that. I did find the piles yesterday. Didn't leave them, I actually found them in the end. Because we needed to find other like piles too. So it was like worth looking for them. But yeah, now we've done that, we can actually go do what I need to go do. Gonna like wander around, trying to find some frogs, level up a little bit. Maybe we even catch like bugs in general, just so that like my level goes up. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. But we'll go find the piles while we're at it. Why not? Do they spawn here? Or do they not? Am I not in the right place for frogs? I don't see any. But they could be. Oh wait. I think there's some up this way. I think. Uh oh. Yeah, so they said they fixed this. They said they fixed that. It's not fixed. My name tag thing is still not there. Which is very annoying. Very annoying. Okay, I would find it kind of funny actually. If the first one I caught just then was actually the a plush. Okay. So that's one place we can come to. I don't know if this would be a good place to do it, actually. I got to log out on the game for a while, I'll be watching my phone. Okay. I don't know where the best place to go and do this would be. Because that seems like a good quiet place. Nobody really fast travels through Bahari that way. Not that I see, at least. Wait, there's a cute outfit. Oh. I didn't know this entrance was even there. Oh my god, I think I joined a new server. Is that because I, like, had to go back home and stuff, like, 3 times? That's so annoying. Okay, there isn't anything this way. Hello? We're going for crazy today. You're probably going to see us do what we did that time when I was going dizzy from it. I don't know if you're even going to be able to watch the stream because of it. We'll see if you do. If I notice you're not here, then I'll know. I always get lost around here. Like, when we were doing the frogs last time, I used to know exactly where I was. But now I'm just like, who? So, like, that time we were doing, like, that thing where we were just chucking these balls down at, like, frogs. And it made me go kind of dizzy, and I kind of got a bit of headache from it. We did it for, like, 3 hours. We're kind of doing it again. Because they give plushies, and I need them. So, if you're not in the chat at all, I'll probably know why. Because it might make you go dizzy too. Might be a bit of motion sickness. Where are they all? Like, that's one. Oh, me? Yes, you! I'm warning you about motion sickness. Why can I not catch this frog? Yeah, I was just warning you, like, you might be fine, but... just in case. Not doing it just yet, but in a bit. Oh, there was like 60 of them around here, and now there isn't. Damn it. They're not there when I need them. There's none down here. Is there any up here, though? Did they actually, like, spawn up here before the glitch? Or was it just, like, down there? There's none up here. That sucks. I think we need to go to the grove. We kind of, like, went to the grove yesterday, but it didn't show any frogs for some reason. Oh. Well, that failed. I was trying to jump on that. But yeah, yesterday there were no frogs. There were no frogs at the grove for some reason. I think someone else was trying to hunt for them too. But we'll see right now. Hopefully there isn't anyone there. Usually there's like a good amount of them there, but we're just gonna keep hopping between a few. And eventually we'll just put like a lure down. They're awesome. Hello. I'll put a lure down eventually, but... But why is this still here if like the quest is done? Like, Is it just supposed to be there to traumatize me? That's kind of mean. That's kind of mean. Yeah, there's only one or two. Why is there not that many of them? It's kind of odd. I wonder why. Okay, let's start doing this. Yeah, I don't think there's really that many around here for some reason. Whenever I don't need them, they spawn. When I want them, they don't spawn. Like, usually there's like 5 right here, like, between this and over there. There's none. There's none. What is this? I feel like the game always knows what I'm trying to do. And it just, like, does it on purpose. It's like, yeah, we know what you're trying to do, so we're just not gonna let you have it. And like the trick with the Zeki coins didn't work yesterday. That made me kind of upset. We didn't get a plushie yesterday at all. We broke the streak. Demodoc. I'm assuming if they're nowhere else, then they're gonna be here. Yeah, I see one. There's only one. Any more? It's just one. One frog. No way. Wait, is this one? What is... Oh, I was like, what is that? That didn't look like anything I'd seen before. Yeah, there's none this way. Wait. Found one. Is this a flame-horned one? Yeah. No plushie. No plushie. Okay. I was like, oh, well, maybe, you know, when I see the flame-horned one, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll actually get one for this. That'd be kind of cool. Nope. Nope. Okay, there seems to be quite a few around this way. Which is always nice. So we just need to go around all these places. Wait. Oh, I thought I caught it. I thought I caught it. Never mind. I didn't. Okay, this is definitely where they all were because... Quite a few. No. There was like 3. And now there's none. Uh-oh. Oh, we found a pile. Lovely. That's what we wanted. Let's dig this up and see. Wait, what do we need? All we need now is statue 1. Oh, it's not. Oh, wait, they're both here. Nice. Okay, it's not what I needed, but it's a mermaid, which is like really good because that's like a popular one that people need. So that's gonna mean... That's gonna mean... Okay, I don't need that one either, but I can trade someone very easily now for that. Which is always good. Oh, I think I have a Zeki coin at home too. And it's 6 PM, it's not 6 AM, so... Do we get mail at 6 AM and 6 PM? Never really noticed about that. But yeah, we're gonna just like go back at, I think, 6 every day, I think. I will try to. I'm not gonna promise that I'll get it every time, but we'll try. What did you get? I got a mermaid, which I don't need, and I got Ancient Machine 5, which I also don't need. But I need Ancient Statue 1, I think it's called. We didn't get it, but I can trade easily for that. We just gotta do it. And then we're done. We're done with collecting them. And then we just help everyone else. I do kind of wish that once you got the bundles finished, that the piles would change to something else. Wait, oh my god. I never set up my stream deck for a stream. I always have something else on there and I'm like, I need to mute my mic. Actually one, I need saw 2. Yeah, I just need that one. That's the most annoying thing. Like, all we need is like one thing. And I for the life of me cannot find it. I kind of wish we'd have gotten both yesterday. I only got one of them. I just needed 2 yesterday. Now I need 1. But we got a mermaid. Getting a mermaid's pretty good, I think. Because I can just trade for anything, I'm pretty sure. Like, most people need the mermaid. So if they have anything else, it's pretty a given. Okay, is there any more on this side now? Oh. Hello. Plushies, please. No. Nope. I've only seen one different frog. Like I keep seeing the same frogs. I don't know where the other ones are. Like I've only seen one flamehorn. Is it flamehorn? Flamehorn. That is it. One of these. Just one. So it seems a little bit weird, but I'm trying on 3 alts 2 and still no luck. We saw 2. Weird. That seems like the game's toying with you then. Hello, I'm back. Hello. Welcome in. Welcome in. We are currently not doing a good job yet again at trying to find these frogs. No! Like, this one isn't this one supposed to be the hardest one to find? Or am I crazy? Is the other one that was part of like the glitch, is that one the one that's hardest to find? I think it could be. Should we be doing hot pot right now? I don't know if I want to do hot pot. I didn't really do it yesterday. We only played like 2 games. I think we only played 2. I think I only played 2. You think it is harder to find than that one? Okay. Okay, so we are probably gonna struggle to find the one I really want then. Which is just fabulous. That's the one I really want. The one that was in the glitch. I really want that one. It's green. Oh well. I think we can dye them. So like, to be honest, I could just dye the ones I get green. You know? We just dye them all green. I just want green frogs. I know most people are probably like, oh, I want one that's different to a normal frog. I'm like, no, I want one that looks like a frog. Like, genuinely, I want one that looks like an average frog. Although, to be honest, like, why do we actually relate all frogs to green? Because when I actually think about it, they're not. The average frog is probably not even really green, is it? Like, a lot of them are, like, multicolored. So if you think about it, they're not really green. But I want a green one, regardless, right? So we'll just dye it. We'll just dye it if I don't find one. Oh, I found one over there, I think. I have a couple frog ones. Really? Everyone seems to have them. And I just don't have them. Oh my god, for a second I actually thought I got it. For a second there I was like, oh my god, I got it. No, it was just essence. It was just essence. My god. Yeah, I think my problem is that I don't have any, like, I don't do really much with the game when I'm not streaming. And so I'm kind of like in a situation where most people are playing in like their spare time, right? So they're just playing when they have nothing else to do. Oh, I drowned. So like when I'm not streaming, I don't really play anymore. I kind of like leave everything to stream so that we have stuff to do. Because I don't like the feeling of not having anything to do on stream. It kind of sucks. I'm like, oh, what should I do today, right? Oh, there's loads over this side. So I just don't play off stream anymore, really. Which means I don't do, like, plushie hunting for, like, hours on the end when I had stream. Like, some people might do. Like, I used to try and do. So I just don't have the opportunity to, like, get them like I used to. Like, don't get me wrong, there's nothing stopping me from, like, doing that. But I just don't do it. And I think it's a lot more fun to get it on stream than it would be off stream. Because I get to share it with you guys, and I just think it's kind of funny when it happens. Because every time I get something I need, it always happens at, like, a funny moment. Okay, how do I get out? It always happens at, like, a funny moment. So I kind of just like to do it on stream. The consequence of that is that I might be missing out. Especially because these plushies actually came out on Thursday, I think it was. Which meant that I didn't get to actually play really over the weekend. So like, I missed out for a couple of days. But we'll get them. We'll get them eventually. We always do. We always do. Oh, this way. Okay, we'll do this until I need to go back and water my plants. Hopefully we can get rid. Hopefully we can get rid of the tomatoes. They are driving me insane. I probably should have put some of them in the seed maker. Kind of forgot, not gonna lie. So when we go back, I should probably do that. Put the tomatoes in the seed maker. Do all the jams. Do sell everything I get like this. Because like getting like, what is it, like 600-700 per stack? It's not bad. And it's been like nearly 500. Kind of insane. We will make some money today. Even if it's a little bit more passive. Wait, is it passive? It's not passive, is it? Passive would be like something that you just don't do to get. Okay, never mind. Take that back. I take that back. We will be doing some passive too, but like a lot of it's just going to be like frogs. I think a lot of it will just be frogs. I don't mind. It's peaceful right now. Until we start like chucking them down every 2 seconds, it's peaceful. Peaceful for the time being. Then it will become hectic eventually. I did see someone say it's like 1 in 500 or something to get a plushie from these ones. So I have a feeling we should be able to get I thought I got one. I keep freaking out thinking I got one. I'm just picking things up too quick. But yeah, I saw someone say that it's like 1 in 500, so I should get one soon. Because I picked up like more than that the last 2 days. Be back tonight, okay. Okay, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Get down, get down. Feel like... Oh wait, someone spooked it? Wait, what was that? Was it me that spooked it? Wait, I'm sorry. Oops. My bad. I didn't even realize. I feel like now that I have a lot of stuff, I just kind of like walk past them and don't even realize that people don't have it yet. and they're like trying to find that thing and I scare it. My bad. Okay. We need to go back to the grove. I am stuck. I am stuck. Oh my god. Okay. We need to go back to the grove. I think. I don't know where else I could do it. It's down here and then it's to the grove and then it's to the deep wood. And so far we have got a decent amount from just doing that. So I think we can do this for a little while. I almost feel like I should go down there and do it, but I feel like maybe going to the grove might work a bit better first. Try and do it in like a, I would say circle, but it's more like a triangle. A little bit more like a triangle. 3 places, right? I don't think it's anywhere else. Oh, we could do it by the door as well. I forget. Keep forgetting about that. Keep forgetting we can do that. Let's just fast travel to the grove. And I think it's near the grove that has the door as well, so we can go and do that. Okay. Let's go see. Do we see any right now? No, we do not. Oh wait, there's one. There's one. Nope. See some more. Okay. I kind of wish they would spawn in a certain place. You know, like, I kind of wish they had, like, a particular place they would spawn so I could just check that place. But they don't. They just spawn randomly. In the most random place. Okay. I think we go this way. Is this the place where the door is? Here. Yes. Here. Oh my, is it already, it's already been an hour? It's already been an hour. Craziness. Ads begin in 3 minutes. Apologies. Didn't even realize it had been that long. The hour goes by quick. Hey, frog friends. Yeah, there is. Okay, now that we know this exists, I have to come here now. Because, like, this gives me, like, a good 5 to 10. Pretty much every time. Like, what, we've got 3. Oh, maybe it's only, like, 3 right now, but... That's not bad. That's another 3 that I wouldn't have gotten otherwise. So that's good. Keep an eye on the time so we can water my plants. Down here? Yeah, down here as well. I feel like it's by the river. No matter where the river is, that's where they spawn, maybe. Okay, I have a problem though. I cannot hit that one because it's in the water. And for some reason, you can't catch a frog if it's in the water. Because that's a thing. That's a thing that doesn't make any sense. Is that it? Are they all gone? I think they're all gone. Okay. Let's see. Where else? Where else? Through here. Where does this take me? Wait, there's none around here now. Here? No. Okay. We'll go to the deep wood then. Go back to the deep wood. Something I do need to actually do, and I could probably off stream more than anything, is just like a level up friendships. Because I'm not gonna lie, I've been avoiding it since day one. I don't know why. I just have like this problem with games where if there is like a relationship thing, I just avoid it because I don't like, I've never paid attention to like the gameplay itself. You know, like the story and stuff, like, because I usually skip quests, dialogue. Like I used to. I'm saying usually, but I don't do it anymore. I used to do that. all the time. And now I don't. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should actually do... maybe I should actually do romance in the game so that I can get things. Because there's things that I don't have because of it. And I feel like it would be nice to have everything I can. Start collecting things. Because I realized it's actually kind of funny that the achievement on Steam to have a friendship, not a friendship badge, a relationship badge pin, only 4% of players on Steam have it. I don't know if that's because they haven't gotten one since they released it on Steam only, but they did prior to it. Or if they just haven't gotten it at all. Which I wouldn't be surprised, but I feel like a lot of people do have the pins right now. I just haven't even like remotely blinked an eye at it. I just haven't even thought about it. Also, the will-o-wisps are way too easy to catch right now. What is this? Why am I getting one like so quickly? Like all it takes is one normal smoke bomb and it's like done. Seems a little bit odd. Seems a little bit odd. Let's go this way and see. Oh, here we go. Here we go. We got one. I feel like maybe I should change the outfit because I changed it to this one and now I feel like I've just like gone against nature by like not having the frogs on. Like the frogs was supposed to be like a manifestation of like, give me the frogs. And now I don't have it on. I feel like I've gone against it. Okay, is there any over here? I missed it. Where is that bit with like the... It looks like the beach. I can't think of where that is. I just know it. I know it in the back of my head. I'm like, oh, that place. I have no idea where that is. Is it down here? Okay, maybe we go... Oh, if it lets me. If it lets me mark it. It's just not gonna let me do it. Okay, turn around. And go this way. It won't let me do a marker. I hate that. That's one of my like least favorite bugs. I can't place a marker. There we go. We're fine. Like, I just want to say where I'm going. I'm not the best at remembering. Oh, we need to eat. Gotta keep that up. Gotta keep that up. I haven't been eating in forever. My focus has just been 0 for like 2 months. Not even 2 months, probably like a month. I keep forgetting to eat. But how many have we got right now? This is what we're sitting on right now. Yeah, if we could try and do 500 though and see if it actually just give me it. It seems to be this guy that is like wanting... I don't know if it was 500. Maybe it was 5,000. Maybe it was 5,000, which is why it would make so much more sense that I haven't got it yet. Right? Oh, we need to go over this side too. I don't know if I took a screenshot or saved the image that said this on it. So I'm kind of just... Oh. I'm kind of just relaying the information from memory, which is probably... Yeah, that's not going to work. Probably just not the best way of doing it, but it's fine. It's fine. Oh, that's a beast lair. I was like, huh? What's back there? Any more? Or are we all done? I think we might be done. But now that we kind of have an idea now that they do kind of spawn by the rivers. By the riverside. So now we know where to look. That means we can probably find them a bit easier, I would think. Any more around here? Or are we all gone? Okay, we're all done here. Let's go back. It's 3 a.m. We are gonna have to go back soon. Not yet, but soon. I need those damn tomatoes to just disappear. I don't want to dig them up because I feel like that just goes against the purpose of me planting them in the first place. But I don't want them there anymore. I want them gone. And they're just sat there, serving me no purpose. I need like 9. Maybe not 9, because I don't actually have them all next to each other, but like maybe 8. 8 apple trees. 8 apple trees would be nice. All at once, but we only have 3 right now. I could have bought the seeds as well, but I'm trying to not spend my medals unless it's... If I actually like the things that are sold in the guild shop. Is that what it's called? Guild shop? In this shop that I actually like, if I like the items in it and I need to save for it, then I'm not going to spend the medals. With the insects, I'm not too bothered by them, so I'm kind of just spending them so that I can get things like this. But when it comes to like what was it, like the gardening one, I want loads of the wells and stuff, and in order to get them I kind of have to like not buy anything like seeds with it, but it's a bit annoying because I'm so tempted. Like, I have like 400 medals. I could just buy seeds. I really could. But once I have the amount I want, I can just spend them however I need. I'm trying to just like gather enough of them so that we can do that. Do they spawn around here as well? Oh, they do. I didn't even think of that. What about near the edge? No? No. So they kind of spawn near like either swampy water or like a river. So we get that now. I think they kind of, some of them might spawn here too. I guess it's just like shallow water. Also, we probably should have just taken one of those potions that I have yet to actually use. I have not used one of the potions we bought. So maybe I should have used this opportunity to do it. But I feel like they're probably better to be used for trying to do hunting rather than insects. Even though we're not doing insects, we're doing frogs. But okay, maybe we go back now. 4 o'clock. We have 2 hours. I could put everything back, fix stuff, grab things, do the stuff I needed to do. There were things I needed to do that I didn't do. Let's go do that. Let's go do that. Okay. We have... What are we selling? Wait, do I have like... What frogs do I have? Okay, I have some. I actually kept some of these. And then we have those. Okay, it's 5 to... Do we have like... I don't need that many though. Right, like I don't need that many. I'll keep like 2 of each thing. And then we can sell the rest. We can sell the rest. We don't need them. They're gone. And then we got the mermaid, which is fabulous. What did we need to do? We needed to make the seeds. How many do we have? 114. 114. Yeah, we need to use these. And like the good thing about making seeds with something is like you can just shove them all in, and then when you need seeds to actually plant as well, you can just keep some of them. It's not like when you make jams and you accidentally use all of the fruit or the veg to make a jam. And you needed the seeds as well, and you just completely forgot Now you have to like go and buy them. And I hate having to buy them. I hate that. So making seeds is a lot better in my opinion. If you're very forgetful like me, making seeds is kind of the better option. No, I need to put that modified bench away. It is driving me insane. Every time I go to do anything, it opens that. Oh wait, we don't have any Becky coins yet. Okay, we'll keep that in there for now. Then we can come back to that at the end of the stream. Okay, so we don't have... We have 1 apple right now. And I need like 4. We need like 4 apples. That's not good. Oh, did I get this? Wait, I already got it. It's glitched. I got gold from it, right? I got gold from that. And then I got pallium from this. This is odd. Okay. How much... Ooh. Okay, we'll put that in. We'll put that in there for now. But I kind of need to go and get pallium. We do kind of need to go get pallium, I'm not gonna lie. We have 22 ore, and that is it. That's all I have. It's not good. I do feel like I should change the skin back. Do we go back? I feel like I don't have all of the ones I want attached to the wheel right now. I feel like there was another one that I could do, like with the frog hat. Wait. Or like the frog ears. Either one works, right? They're all manifesting the frogs. Maybe this one. Yeah, I haven't worn this one in a while. It's still manifesting the frogs if I have frogs of any kind, right? I have the frog earmuffs. I keep calling them headphones, but they're not headphones. They're just earmuffs. But yeah. Are these gonna be done now? I think we need like a... What do we call it? Like a quality of life update to like gardening where it tells you how long there is left. So that I can plan ahead. Oh. Wait. I didn't even realize that needed harvesting. Okay, it's only that one. Because like this is annoying me. Like I want all of this here to go. And all of this to go. So that I can just plant these. It's bugging me that I have like... It's very uneven. There's no system to it. It's like... It's too chaotic. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's giving me anxiety. Like, I don't have anything else to plant though. That's the thing. I feel like I need to start planting beans and apples. In fact, what do we get out of beans? Do we make jam with beans? Is that a thing now? Pickled beans or canned beans. 41 gold. Or 41 gold or 90 gold. How many does it use? 1 or... Let's see. 1. Wait, so is it worth doing seeds then? Not canned seeds, but seeds. Maybe we should be doing that. Maybe I should be doing that. Feel like I should be. Okay, this one's nearly done as well. Okay, we're finally getting through it. Which is nice. Okay. I just want them to be gone. They've been here for like 2 weeks. These were planted before the update, I think. No, just after the update. I think I planted some... I planted the pumpkins around the update time. And then it was like... I harvested the seeds, planted some more pumpkins, and then planted tomatoes. And these tomatoes have been sat here for weeks. I feel like they should be gone by now. I don't feel like I should have them still sat here. So we need to be rid. Need to be rid. See, the problem is now though. The problem now is that I have so much storage that I'm just like throwing stuff in. I'm not even looking at what I have. It isn't good. Not good. And why do I have this on? Why does the game keep doing this to me? I don't even own this. Frogs. We're manifesting frogs, not coffee. I had a coffee and it wasn't that great this morning. I hate when you make like a coffee or like a matcha and it just doesn't taste very good. It's kind of a little bit like, oh, this doesn't taste like coffee. It was kind of sad. It tasted very odd. I think it's because it was like, I cannot for the life of me find my coffee syrup. Every time I go to TK Maxx, it's not there. I cannot order it online. So I go to another brand and I'm like, okay, this one's fine. And then I can't find it. It's like the universe is playing with me. I cannot find the one thing I want. I just want coffee syrup. Nope. So then I have to have like... my coffee was like lemon meringue flavor, which on its own, good. Really good. If I just use like vanilla syrup, it's fine. It just tastes very good with pumpkin spice. Pumpkin spice does not go with lemon meringue. It smelled and tasted very odd. I was having to hold my breath while I drank it. I was like, I don't like this. I don't like it. I think I'm gonna go up and down the list. Maybe. I don't know where the best place to do... Okay, they are actually gaslighting us with this PALIA. That actually looks kind of pinky purple right now. It's not normally that colour. I swear it's not. I don't know where the best place to do a couple of the lures would be. Obviously, we only have 3. We still haven't leveled up. If we level up once, then I can get them. We can do this and get 30, which will only give me 1 more. I think maybe we do that. Is that worth doing here, or should I go to Kilima to do that real quick? Maybe I do. Maybe we go back to Kilima real quick, get that done, buy another lure, and then maybe we do the lures. Just so that, like, I'm not doing the lures and then, like, I have 1. I just feel like if the more I have, the better it's going to be. But I also kind of need to try and spread it out if I don't have that many. If we had, like, 50, I would be doing it the whole stream. I wouldn't even be thinking anything else. I'd just be like, yeah, let's just chuck a lure down and go crazy, but... I do just feel like this is the best place to do, like, the weekly for it. Because, like, this one... Are you uncommon? No, you're common. Of course you're common. Maybe like the moth would be a good one, but it's like 8 AM. I don't think it's gonna show up. I don't know what spawns in the middle of the day. Right now, I actually don't really see any. Maybe if we go over to the lake. It might. Wait. I just saw one, but it doesn't actually exist. Okay. I'm seeing them when they're not there. I keep thinking the, you're not uncommon, but I will take you. I will take you. I feel like I'm seeing the, like, the things flying through the air, and I just automatically assume that it's a bug. That's kind of annoying. You're not uncommon. Or maybe you are. Hang on. You are common. Why are they all common? Which ones are uncommon? I don't even have a clue. You uncommon? Maybe? No, you're common. Where do we get the uncommon ones from? I gotta catch them all just so that I can find an uncommon one. Otherwise, they're probably not gonna spawn. Is that silver? Okay, maybe we do this while we're here too. Nice. I, like, cannot walk past silver or gold anymore. Because before, like, obviously you couldn't see it. But I feel like when something's like a rare thing, like you just like, if you see it, you can't walk past it and just leave it. I feel like that would be... It's going to be a little bit devastating when it comes back to it and you actually need it for something, you just didn't pick it up. Weird, that's uncommon. That one's uncommon. There we go. Okay, so we need centipede then. Is this guy uncommon? No. Okay, so apparently uncommon, very uncommon. I don't know why. They're really hard to find for some reason. Normally I can get this done pretty quick, and for some reason this is not very quick. I used to be able to do this weekly pretty easy. Maybe I'm not in the right place. Okay, that one is. Maybe Bahari would have been better. But I always associate Killamut with uncommon sort of bugs, just like loads of them. Maybe I'm just not getting lucky today. I also just realized, does the relic for the piles and stuff, does it go hand in hand with the other ones? Or not? Like, do we get the tracking of the other piles like in Killer and stuff? Or do we only get them in Elderwood? I didn't read the fine print. I never read like the whole thing. I'm like never aware of like how it actually works. I'm gonna assume it's only for the relics, because... Not the relics, the artifacts. I'm gonna assume it's just for that. But I could be wrong. I'm back. Oh. Hopefully everything's going okay. Hopefully everything's going okay. Oh, food. Food. Don't forget food. We need to be like making sure I know how many I've got, because if I end up just like running around like a mad woman, not actually finding the stuff I need, that's gonna be kind of just kind of counterintuitive, right? Oh, we're finding ladybirds everywhere. See, I find things when I don't need them. I don't need this right now. I have silk. I don't need silk. But hey. Only one? Okay. Okay. Maybe there was no point going for it. Maybe there was no point. How many more do we need? 6? I was like, let's go do this real quick, and then we can get the middles, and we can get one more vanilla, and then we can just like jump in. No. That is apparently not how it's gonna work. That is apparently not how it's gonna work. But it's fine. All for the frogs. All for the frogs. One of these is... Yeah, that one. So it's the leaf hopper one. And the centipede one. Those are the ones that we need. But they're not very easy to find. Because I don't think any of the bugs in Elderwood right now are even remotely uncommon. I'm pretty sure they're like rare or like... I don't know what comes below that. I'm not even like... I'm not educated on this. But I'm pretty sure that the bugs in Elderwood are like harder to get. You know, like they take a little bit more effort to get. It's the frogs that are a bit easier. And the frogs don't count, I don't think. Which, honestly, like, the fact that frogs don't count, but they are still insects, is just kind of weird. What is going on with this? Why are you floating? Why are you floating like that? Okay. You're gonna be difficult. You're gonna be difficult. Okay, we only need 5, I think, now. Only 5. How many have I caught? This is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Okay, actually, there's quite a few over this side. Maybe the... Wait, do these low ones here, are these the ones I need? No. Hi, common. Hello. That was easy. 6. Let's see. So we need... just those ones, I think it is. I don't think there's that many of them. It's more common than anything. I just wish the quest was... Not the quest, but the weekly like thing was common bugs. And not uncommon. It would make it a lot easier, which defeats the purpose of it, but... I would appreciate it. We've gone around like the whole of Killamur and only found this many of them. Like, what is that? That's insane. Oh. Oh no. Don't do this. Okay. So we have 6, 7, 8. Okay, we only need 2. We only need 2. I hate the fact that I have to pick these ones up just so that the other ones spawn. I'm not a fan of that. I get why it makes sense. But I don't need these. They're just going... They're gonna be sold at the minute I get home. Like, all of them are, to be honest, but we need the medals. In fact, we can just sell them to Orny, actually, but... I'll probably do that, and then we'll fast travel to the Elderwood again. One more. Wait, you're not it, right? I don't think it is. No! You're the wrong one. I need the one that looks really dark when it's in the grass. That's the only way I can tell them apart. Okay, we'll go down this way and see if I can find one. Usually they're in like a big open space. See something down there. You're not it though. Oh my. I have so many butterflies right now. If we could find one, this would be great because he is stood right over there. All I need is one. I think. I hope. I hope. Come on, I need one bug. Just one bug. Wait, are you it? You might be it. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're common. I want the other one. I want the other one. You're not it either. Where is this other one gone? Does it only spawn at certain times? I'm kind of just like over picking them all up. I just want to find that one. Wait, this one, I think. Let me go get my frogs. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's go back to Olney then. We'll sell these and buy another lure. At least one more. I think I can buy 2. I think that puts me at 100 medals right now. A little bit weird actually because I must have done some of them yesterday. Because I don't remember having any medals from the other achievements.
I was hoping to talk to you today.
So I must have done the other ones yesterday. Okay, we're gonna sell these. Buy this before I forget. Okay, we have 25 now. It's not terrible. Oh, I just realized too, we actually have space to store the flowers. I don't have to sell them. But we can actually keep them.
I got even more fun.
Okay, we cannot fast travel home right now. But it's okay. Oh, I need to put the animal on. The little plumhound guy. Keep forgetting about him. There he is. Yeah. I love my pal cat. I always will, but this guy's so cute. Go home. And I think we're gonna go and do... I think we're gonna go do the frogs. I don't know how it's gonna go. I don't know if anyone's gonna join in. I have no idea. But hopefully I can actually find at least one. At least one plushie would be nice. Okay, we have 4 of them. Do I need any more smoke bombs? I only have 2. That works. That filled a slot. Better than nothing. Okay, Elderwood. Alright, time to go freak out like a maniac. Hello! Hello! Raz, how's your day been? Is Boo like the new entrance? I like it. Where are we gonna go do this? We can do it in... I'm not gonna do it here. This is just like, I'm not doing it here at all. No thanks. So we have like down here. We can do it here. I think I did it over this side yesterday. Was that on stream? That was on stream, I think. Okay. I think it's this coast. I don't know. He was supposed to jump out your skin in the boot. It scared me yesterday. Scared me yesterday. I don't know. Why do we do this? So it's going at 9, so it's either very soon or tomorrow. Oh, wait, that is today. I honestly was so confused because it says 17th, Tuesday the 17th at 5. We have 25 minutes. We are just doing like the frogs. We're just trying to find... I'm gonna go to the deep wood. We're just trying to find plushies because I don't have any still. So we're gonna go do it real quick because I kind of forgot about the downtime. So I don't know if we're gonna have to end stream. They kind of said that it wouldn't be like full-blown downtime and that it instead would be like you'd get logged out but then logged back in. So I'm kind of confused. As to like what's going on. I think I do it here. I think I like this bit. Might do it here. I probably should have fixed my thing while I was at it. It's a froggy hunt? Yeah. I'm gonna start one on my own. If anyone wants to join before the servers go down, very welcome to. But now I'm panicking because the servers are going down. And I kind of forgot. I kind of forgot. But yeah, if anyone wants to join, feel free. The more the merrier. I am literally just gonna go crazy for like the next 25 minutes. On my way? Yeah, let's go. Get a little craziness in before the servers go down. I don't know if we're gonna get kicked out. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if we're gonna be able to log straight back in or if the game's going down completely. I have no idea. And they made it sound like we were going to be able to log straight back in, so I'm a little bit concerned that now we're not going to be able to do that. Where are you hiding? I am down here. The fallen adequate? Is that so? That's where I am right now. Seems to be like a decent spot at least. Hello! Hello! Found me. There we go. Are we in one? Yeah. Nice. Now we just gotta go crazy for like 20 minutes and see if the game kicks us out. Hopefully it doesn't, but it sounded like they would kick us out of the game, but we could log straight back in. I am really hoping that that's what's gonna happen. Instead of being completely kicked out of the game and not getting back in. Because I didn't even plan around it. Probably should have planned around it, but I didn't. Also, I feel like I have to pick these up, because if I don't pick them up, the game's gonna go down, and I'm gonna forget that the game's going down, and I'm gonna miss the one bag that has a plush in it. And it's gonna be the most frustrating thing I've ever done. I'm not even gonna know if I have a plush either until like afterwards, because it's just not gonna register with all this like popping up. It's gonna be kind of funny. Maybe I should like double check. Wait, why do I keep getting like slowed down when I run? That's really weird. Okay, we'll put another one. Yeah. How long do we have? Okay, we have 20 minutes. 20 minutes isn't terrible. I think we can get one. If we can get one before downtime, maybe I'll end stream then. But if we don't and it gets us back in, I'll probably just keep streaming. Because I don't even know what this downtime is for. Is it just for... Is it for the, like, furniture and stuff? Like, the bugs of the furniture, maybe? Could be. There is potential for it to be that. I don't know what else it would be for. It's got to be like a hotfix situation. The only thing that bugs me is I could have sworn it said, hey guys, we're gonna like do a little hotfix tomorrow. You might get kicked out of the game for a minute, but you can log straight back in. And now it doesn't say that, I don't think. Did they change it? Or am I remembering wrong? I'll check after this game and hopefully I'm wrong. And we could just log back in. Like, I kind of hate how PALIA always has a patch when I'm streaming. They always have a hotfix when I'm streaming. It's another when I'm not live. It's never at like 5 AM or like, you know, midnight. No. Nope. It's always at like 6 PM or like 5 PM. It must be like so much better when it comes to gaming, like to be in like the time zone the game updates at, so that like you know that you're gonna be able to play afterwards. I just checked. I have 2 of the flame hopper. 2 of them? Oh my god! I feel like that's the one that people are actually struggling to find more for some reason. I don't know why. When we went into, is it Silas or Silas? I don't know how to say her name. I feel terrible. I can never pronounce the name right. I keep calling her Silas because that's how it like sounds to me when I read it. She was like, oh yeah, we got, we're doing like a giveaway of them. I was like, girl, how did you find them? How did you find them? I wish I had like a bunch of things and I would literally do like a giveaway for them. But we're not looking like that. We're not looking like that. Honestly, I want the plushies for the frogs so much more because they're just like goofy looking. Oh, it's just showing me of day and they got 2 double plush drop within a couple of minutes? That's crazy. That's crazy. Nice. Oh, we have to get one today. There's no way we don't. Like, we're in a party. We have loads of, we have loads of... Oh my god, the word. Loads. We have to get it. And it was flame... It was flame ones too? That's insane. That's insane. Madness. Honestly, the game like favors you for like a hot second though, and then it kind of like doesn't like you for like the next week. I had that happen with the Elder Shernuk. Never again. Never again. So like as much as it's a look thing, it's always also like just like a... It kind of goes both ways. Like you get it and then you never get it again. This is so much calmer though than the other one. I feel like the frog glitch was just so hectic because it was like you wanted to get it in a certain amount of time so that you can make so much money in case the game went down and they patched it. This is like, the game's going down, they're not going to patch anything, there's nothing to patch. But at the same time, we don't have much time, so I'm kind of panicking too. My god, I thought I got one then. I actually thought I had one. Trying to like pick them all up so that I don't get kicked. Like if I get kicked early, that would, oh my god. Although like I'm actually kind of not terrible when it comes to stuff like that. They do tend to kick me late. I am usually playing after the downtime begins. If I'm logged in when the downtime begins, like they don't really kick me out. So maybe we can just carry on. Maybe we can carry on, but that would be like having to pick one up every time you catch it, just in case. Because if you catch like 30 of them and then you don't pick them up all at once, yeah, they're gonna disappear. And then you're gonna be sad. And it's gonna be your own fault. Okay, where'd this guy go? Yeah. We have to get one soon. We have 15 minutes. Try and catch the rest. Let's see. We got one? I don't know if we got one. Let's see. This is what we have so far. Quite a lot, considering I haven't actually got any yet. It's kind of insane. Like, how many is that? It's a lot. And they just still haven't... Still haven't given me one? So rude. So rude. I keep nearly putting one down. Okay, I'm trying to be, like, quick with it. But my reflexes are not good. Okay. Now, this isn't gonna work, is it? Nope. It's bugged. I hate that. That's bugged is so annoying. Like, what do you mean it's bugged? It's in the water. That's like where it lives, right? Why can't I not pick it up? Doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem right. Okay, go pick them up again. My god, we have so many and not one. This is a troll. I keep looking out for my notifications in case they like tweet something or say anything. Oh my god. My bag's gonna break, but I obviously don't have time to go and do anything about it. So we'll just leave it. We'll let it break. I said I would never do it again. But in this situation, we don't have very long. So we kind of have to. We kind of have to let it. Kind of have to. Nope. Every time I get like the third notification on the side that I like picked something up, I keep thinking it's gonna be that. It's always essence or something. I don't care about essence. I have 15,000 of it. I can get that whenever I want. It's incredibly easy to do. Give me the plushies instead. Oh wait, that's not. Don't need that. Okay. My bag is like 2 seconds away from breaking. Okay, I think we got them all. Let's see. Did we get one? I don't think we did. Oh my god, this is torture. The game is literally torturing me. What is this? Look at all these. Nope, it's so annoying. Like, why is it this difficult to find? I don't get it. I'll put one down in a second. 10 minutes. Let's check what the Discord said, because following a hotfix tomorrow, players may experience a brief kick back to the login screen, but should be able to log right back in. It doesn't say that on the start of the game, though. That's the problem. It doesn't say that. So it's kind of a bit misleading. I have no idea what's going on. We'll just see what happens. We'll be careful, but then we'll see what happens. I think I've ever seen it say you can log back on the start page. Yeah. I feel like they should have that though. Like if you can log back in, tell people they can log back in, right? Like I've seen a lot of problems recently with how people just don't have Discord, and it's like completely fine. Like if you don't have Discord, that's fine. Like you shouldn't have to have Discord. You know what I mean? Like it shouldn't be something you have to do. But recently it's like a problem because a lot of games will not communicate outside of Discord. And it's like, if you don't have it, you don't know something because you seriously just haven't read anything, right? Discord's where all the information is these days for games. And that kind of sucks. Only they were shutting down for maintenance. Yeah, it's like, oh, it's gonna log you back in on Discord. You're fine, like you can keep playing or something. And I'm like, okay, cool. I log into the game and it's like, no. No. No, you're gonna have to like not play for a couple hours. Like we haven't got like a time frame of how long it's gonna be, so I'm assuming that we should be able to log back in. But like I said, we'll see. We'll see what happens. My god, every time there's like a couple of things on the side, it's like triggering me right now. Oh. My god. See, it makes me dizzy to do this. It makes me super dizzy. I don't know why. But it does. Like, it's the zooming in and out and like the going like this really quick thing. Like, I can play Fortnite or Valorant or anything really like all day and it will not make me dizzy. But the minute I play this, I'm like, oh my god. Okay. Time to pick up. Nope. Nope. Plushie, 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 please. 7 minutes, please. And then my bag doesn't have to break. No. Nothing. Nothing. Is there a crying emote? There isn't. Is there a crying sticker emote? No. My bag already broke. Oh my god. And luckily mine hasn't yet. Okay. It will in a second though. Which is fine. I don't even care right now. I want the plushies, so. Okay, this bug with the underwater thing is such a problem. Like, what do you mean? Oh, it broke. It broke. But that's okay. Oh yeah, the seed event thing. I haven't even done that yet. Oh! Now! That's in 2 minutes. That answered the question. I didn't realize that popped up. That's really useful. Did not realize. So it starts at, like, o'clock-ish? Which actually kind of sucks, because if you think about it, that's when the game's supposed to be going down. It only tells you if you're in a certain vicinity to it. Weird. Look, I cannot catch these if they're underwater. So frustrating. Like, there's 3 of them just in the water and I cannot catch one. What? Does anyone have statue 1? No? I wish. I wish. Okay, I don't know if we're gonna get one before stream ends. No, not before the stream ends, but before the game closes. I just don't think it's gonna happen. Like, that's my last lure. I broke my bag. What more do I have to do? Like, what more do I have to do to get this? We gotta stop picking everything up that we catch. Because there's so many of them and we don't have much time left. Yeah. Catch. And then pick up. Yeah. Pick all these up. Catch. Pick up. Pick up. Oh my god, we didn't get one. We didn't get one. No. We're out. We didn't get one. Well, looks like we're gonna go do the whatever this is. I don't even know what we're doing, but we're gonna do this before the thing ends. I don't even know what we do. What are we doing? Oh, do you want to do another one? I still have 8 less. Oh. Should we see what happens with the game? I have no idea what I'm doing with that game. We'll try and do that another day because I don't want to just do it like 2 seconds now. Need to collect the things. It's so confusing though. There's like 3 things I have to do at once. Yeah, we have like a minute. Oh, let me snooze ads. Oh, they put one down. Okay, cool. Can they go inventory clear out? Okay. Oh, you're joining in now? I saw that she put one down. I was like, oh, okay, if you want to. Why not? Sure. We might not even be able to pick them all up in time, but you know what? Go for it. We have a minute. Did we get one out of this batch? That would be really quite funny, actually. I get one out of this before the game just like closes and kicks me out. Okay. We have like 30 seconds. We have like 30 seconds. Oh my god. They just put in the Discord about kicking us. Not in my books. We don't do that. We let people get plushies instead. Pretty please. No. No. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I'm like begging, hoping, praying that I could just get one. It's like they're saying it's only going to be a brief kick out, but I doubt it. I feel like it's going to kick us out and not let us back in. I just have a feeling. I don't know what the feeling is, but it's not good. I don't trust them. I don't trust them to say, oh, we're just going to kick you out for a brief second. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not going to do that. You're going to kick us out and not let us back in. Where are all the frogs? Like, like the frogs are just not spawning anymore. There's like... Okay, they're over here. There was none for like a couple of minutes. Uh-oh. Are people getting kicked? Are people getting kicked? My god. I've got the crazy guys going on because I'm so like concentrated right now trying to get one. We didn't get one! Oh my god. What is this look? What is this look? Like, how long do I have to wait to try and get one? Oh, I got a locket. I don't know what a locket is, but I got one. It's 2 minutes past. 2 minutes past. And we haven't been kicked. I don't know if it's gonna happen. Says in a few minutes we're pushing a hotfix. Players may experience a brief kick log back into the login screen, but we should be able to log right back up. We'll keep you posted if anything changes. Well, my ads are gonna play, so... I can only do this once more and I don't want to in case. It says that... Does it say may experience? May experience a kick. A giant boot drops down from the sky and boots you out of the game. Imagine. That would be kind of funny. It's like the banhammer thing in games. Where it's like, this person was struck by the banhammer. I love that. Yeah, there's not... Oh, there's one over here. I'm just trying to get them all. There's a chance that I could get one. Just random. It's like the most random look ever. 4 minutes past. Nope. Any more? Any more? I know a couple of them spawn in the middle of the... Oh. No! That could have been the one! That could have been the one! I think I got kicked. I think I'm getting kicked. Any luck, I'll be able to play anywhere else. So much going on here, it's crazy. I really do hope everything is okay for you guys over there. Yeah. Can I even... I don't think I can do anything. Is everyone getting kicked? Am I gonna get kicked or am I just gonna stay here? Hello? What is going on? Like, Raz is still there, but like he's not. So I'm very confused. Wait, you came back online? I feel like I'm alone in the world right now. Oh! Can we get back on? 482! Okay, I'm gonna be like right back then. And we'll see if I can get back in. But I'll be right back. Okay, it didn't log me in. I see, it didn't log me in. Let's see. Did it let me back in now? 21 ahead of me. No, I don't think it's gonna let me in. Oh. Or is it gonna load and then not let me in at all? Oh. Yeah. This is normal. Yeah, it's completely normal. Everyone is loading in. Oh my god, everyone's lagging. Every time the login times out, it adds more people in front of me. Are you? Oh my god, are you kidding me right now? I just logged in and look at all these people. Look at how many people are like spawning in. All next to each other. Weird, the skin's kind of cute. I didn't realize it had like the flowers and stuff below it. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Oh, God. Okay, we're gonna go back down there. And I'll see if you're even able to get back on. That's kind of funny though. Where were we though? Is it over this way? I think it's this way. I was like, oh, I'll let it load and get me back into the game. And I'll be fine. But then when it came back, it just like, it didn't. Luckily, I only had to queue with, I think, 20 people. But like, we had like 3 or 4 people over here and now there's no one. Like, kind of sucks. Wait, maybe I should go back home actually. I'll go back home and I'll fix everything and like, do I need to water my plants? I do in a minute. Okay, maintenance is happening. They actually said what they're doing. Crashes that would occur when placing furniture over items addressed an issue affecting housing plot stability where placed items would not load in their intended positions and resolved an issue where some fish were given incorrect amount of experience. So right now, they're fixing like the problems that everyone was having then. Like the big ones. Which is good. I just kind of wish they wouldn't do it at the time that I'm playing. I don't even play like after stream. But they've not done it when I'm not playing. It's always when I'm streaming. And like 6 o'clock would be fine. But no. It has to be at 5. And now I can't load anywhere. Oh my god. I'm not loading in now. This isn't good. They promised it wouldn't affect it, but someone had 4 million people. I don't even know if you'll be able to see that. But like 4 million people ahead. Uh-oh. Chat's not working again. People are saying like, do we need to update the game? Like, I keep getting 404 error. Really? I'm struggling. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of struggling. Like, I think they broke something else. They broke the really big problem that you were having. Like, which is obviously good, but... The actual, like, scare that I just got. Oh my god. Oh my god, I honestly thought that everything just disappeared. I was gonna cry. I was so close to crying about that. Like, what do you mean? That would have been awful. If the whole thing just like disappeared, I was like, don't tell me that. That would not be good. Okay, I'm literally gonna have to pick this up. It's driving me insane every time I use it. Try to use this. Okay. I cannot find the bag. I get down to one pill in front of me and then it times me out. It's really slow for me, but it's still loading me in. So I wonder why it's not loading you in at all. That's really weird. Wait, why can't I find... Is it belt? I'm back up to 1,592? Craziness. Oh! I can't even make my... another belt because I have no pallium. That's fun. Here we go. I cannot be breaking my belt again. Okay, we have it. I need to like move this somewhere though. I don't just want it to not exist. I'll put it over there. We'll put it there for now. Let's water my plants while we wait a little bit. We might just have to end stream though because it looks like the game might be broken. The thing is, by this time... Oh, thank God, they're all gone. Finally. This time... Like, not this time, but like, at this point... When the games that I'm going to be playing on stream come out, like the other games, we're going to be playing PALIA, like, mainly. That's going to be the thing. But I'm going to be able to play other games on stream at the end of the year. So, like, when stuff like this happens, we can just go to another game. But right now, I can't. Right? Because there's just not anything I want to play on stream but PALIA. But by the end of the year, like, we can actually do that. It's just annoying that we can't do it right now, because there's not really anything else I want to play. So it kind of sucks. Like, on stream, there's only so much that I feel like I want to play, because there's only so many games that I kind of, like, interacted with other people that I have. And these other games will be. But right now, there's just not anything. Like, I want Lofty to come out so bad so we can play that too. Because that's going to be so good. Like, with it being like an MMO again. I say MMO, but it's very MMO in the style that PALIA is, right? So, like, Loftia is more... It's PALIA, but with, like, the environment brought into it, right? So, like, it's an environment-friendly version of PALIA. But that's why I think it would be so good to play on stream. Why is this still broken? It gave me more loot. Doesn't it only give it you once? Why am I getting more meat and stuff? Like, that's really odd. That's really odd. Okay, we... Right now, cannot make anything. But I need... Nope. They expired. I delete them. Can I not remove them? I cannot remove them. That is fun. See, the only person I have online right now is Les. That is it. Bahari is a good place to go after a server update as it's usually full of flow. Really? Should we try? Should we try? I can't fix the damn thing without breaking something else. I logged into my plot and thought the whole thing had disappeared. The whole thing. But it hadn't. It loaded in, it just took like a minute, and I was scared for a second. But it's so typical. Oh. It's not letting me do it. It's not letting me go there. If there are flow trees, I will be happy about it. But chances of anyone even being there to chop them with me is not good. Once I'd like to be the only premium store they break after an update. Someone made a good point that the premium store seems to be the only thing that is never broken. And I feel like it's kind of funny because, you know, it's for a game. And the only feature in the game that never has a problem is the one thing you have to spend money on. That is kind of... Oops. Big oops. Big oops. Anyone else having such a hard time right now trying to get in? I got in. Same thing for Elder Scrolls Online 2. What's up? Hi everyone! Hi everyone, what the hell? What is going on? Lottery! Lottery! Lots of lotteries. Oh my god, I didn't know this. I'm glad you told me that. I had no idea that was a thing. I just gotta go around and whack them all now. Gotta go find them. Gonna be crushing and burning for the premium. Still like fine. Oh my god. Good point. It's... Honestly, it's just kind of unfortunate, but... What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Okay, there are people that still can't get into the game. Like, honestly, this kind of sucks. Like, I'm on, which is fine. But I honestly hate being able to play when other people can't. That kind of drives me insane. Don't leave it too long, it'll vanish. Does it? Isn't it like 30 minutes? Isn't it like 30 minutes? Hello! Your cardigan is so cute. Thank you! It's from TK Maxx, I think. I think it is. Honestly, a lot of my clothes are from there these days. I happen to find like the cute stuff from there. It's got like flowers down the arm. I'm in Elderwood now, but it'll let me teleport home. It wouldn't let me teleport to Bahari. But maybe if you just keep trying. If you just keep trying. Because there's people that genuinely cannot get in the game. I'm gonna try and just... Is there one over that way? Gold. Oh my god, gold. I need to start carrying flares again. Kind of feel bad. I keep chopping things and stuff and not letting people know. Oops. Oops. Okay. I don't think I'm gonna find... Oh! Friend! Wait for me! Wait for me! I'm begging you, wait for me, please! I'm only here! Let me hear what the tree wants. Yeah, there we go. Now do it to your heart's content. Yay! Thank you, friend. Do I feel bad because you've been saying you need to carry flares for a week now? I know! I'm terrible, okay? I don't like having things in my bag. I don't like having things in my bag. And I'm really bad with it. But I feel terrible every time I do it. I'm like, oh no. I feel like I need to let people know that this thing is here because I feel bad. Just went away really quick so I don't know that it was you that broke it. When I'm not streaming, I don't feel as bad. But when I'm streaming, I'm like, oh, this is awkward. I look like a bad person now. Is anyone else getting back online now, or are they still struggling? I didn't know this was a thing though until you told me about it. But yeah, on stream, like I feel bad about it, about like not telling people, but off stream, I kind of just do the thing where you do it and run away. Gotta just do it and run away. I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, if it's a bigger tree or something, like I need help, fine, but I kind of got like, not traumatized, that's like a big word to use for that, but I have like, wait, let's see if I can call this one out. Oh wait, there's someone here. Hello, friend. Where are you? Where is this person? Hi. I kind of had this thing where I would call floor trees out and no one would turn up for like a solid 10 minutes. And even then, they just still wouldn't even turn up. And it was like, I think I'm done with calling them out. Okay, we got the weeklies done. I tried all my alt certified, but I still need no. Seriously, that is so annoying. Like, I just feel like there should be a higher chance, right, that you get the one you need. I'm lucky I got that one yesterday, but I still need one now. I feel like it's going to take a couple of weeks to get it. I'm not going to lie. The only way I can get it is probably through trading with someone. I would just ask in chat like a bunch of times. Every time you're online, like, just keep server hopping and trying to find someone that can get it, yeah. I feel like that's going to be the only way. What's this person having to wait for? 9 million? Oh. Oh. No, thank you. No, thank you. Okay, I'm actually done with the floor trees. I don't need any more floor trees. But it's nice to know that I can do that. Going to see what I get today, but I'm sure if I've got sword 2. Yeah. I unfortunately do not have it. I unfortunately do not have it. I feel like we are gonna have a broken game again for like the next hour or two. I'm not gonna lie. I think S6 are having a spell of wishful thinking again. Only 25 million. 25? Every time someone says how many people are in front of them, it gets worse. This is insane. I've seen 2 million, I've seen 6 million, now 25 million. Are you actually serious with that number or not? Is the number just like randomized or is it actually true? Because if there's that many people playing PALIA right now, I'm not like, what? I had 300 million once? That's just not, that's impossible. That's impossible. 1 million is possible, but other than that, it's like, nah, not true. Why is that a thing though? Raz, you're here. I see your name. Wait, which side are you on? I don't know where you are right now. You're this way. My mom's gonna come say hi real quick. Wait. Only had 12 million. What? Wait, am I going the wrong way? Raz. I am not good at trying to find. Okay, I found you. There you are. I found you. Finally, it only took us like 15-20 minutes. That took so long. Oh my god. Okay. I am annoyed that I couldn't get a plushie. It's been 2.5 hours and I haven't gotten one. There's no chance of me going to do hot pot. There's no chance of me getting it that way. So I don't know how it's gonna happen. I don't know if it's gonna happen. But here she comes. Checking yourself in the mirror.
Hi.
Knowing how PALIA had more than 3 million, I would say no more than maybe 1 million. And that's after like the console launch. You got makeup on. She's She's got such good skin. I have 800 less, so might get a pushy. Do you want to go do that now? Like the next like 20, 30 minutes? And then I'll probably get off. As long as we can actually like do it, because it might not work right now. Thank you. Yeah? Okay. I'll follow you. I'll follow you because if you follow me, I'm gonna get lost, and then that makes you get lost, and it will end well. It's not good if we both get lost. Because if I get lost, I just follow you instead. Ooh, change of position. Okay. Right, we need to go insane now. We have like 20 minutes, 20, 30 minutes to try and get one. Pray for me. Huh? Well, it kind of is.
Going to work out, guys. Bye.
Bye. It's not getting lost, it's unscheduled exploration. True, you have said that before. I agree. I agree. As put all my stuff back into my tent. Did they break the game for you again? This is getting out of hand. At this point, the wish for being a PALIA partner is more than anything else. It is purely just, I want to be able to talk to them and be like, what is going on? Why is this happening? Was this intended? But I can't do that. Bye-bye, yeah. Is that Mama Cass? Yeah. Cass, Case! Oh, I keep doing that. You guys, I keep saying Cass. It's Case. Oh my god. Yeah, it is. Have you taught your mom Switch yet, Connie? No, I haven't. I haven't. I'm guilty. I'm sorry. I just have to do it. I keep forgetting, or I end up having something happen. We went out all day on Saturday though, and she was more than happy for that. I kind of said like I can either do like the Switch or we can go out the house, and she said she had like the best day she's had in a while. So I don't think she's like too annoyed. The contents of my tent was either in the air, on the floor, or missing. Oh my god. So wait, have they fixed it then? Is that what you're saying? Like they put it all back? Because if so, that's really good. I thought you meant that they messed it up. Oh my god. These frogs are like insane. Oh, that person just stopped by and then left. Please do. I'd love to play alongside of PALIA. I will try. I just keep forgetting or something comes up. I'll definitely like get you guys added on our account and stuff though. If you guys like want to help out with anything when I set it up. It's fixed now. That's so good. Raz, I hope all your stuff's back to normal too. As normal as it can be. Because I was genuinely like devastated when you told me they all broke. Right on your hand. I used to do that in school, but I just don't do it anymore. It's just like a back of the mind thing. I'm like, I'll remember. I'll remember, I swear. I'm not gonna forget. It's not even really about remembering. It's just about like not doing something. Like I would have to like do it before stream. That's when I'll have to do it. And right now we've had people like, we've had stuff happen where it's like, when I told you guys that the house breaks things, okay? My house has stuff breaking more than PALIA does, okay? Like the, oh. Okay, that bag is, oh. That bag is non-existent. Like, we have, like, radiators leaking. We have the boiler not working. It's just, like... If that happens, it just ruins things. I'm like, I have everything planned out. I have everything planned out. You want to do it on this day? Yeah, sure. And it's like, no. You're putting flares in your... That's different, okay? There's no reason as to why I can't do that. I just genuinely forget. But I also just don't want them in there because, like, they take up space. And it's just a little bit annoying. Wait. I think you're bugged, Raz. You have like an arrow pointing at your hand right now. What is going on with that? I love when I see people describe the characters in Discord to new players. Someone said they're trying to speak to Ashura, but they can't find him, and they're thinking they're talking to him right now, but they're not. And someone said, well, where is it? Oh, where did it go? That was funny. Oh, I can't find it now. It's like, oh, Ashura's like the big muscly guy. You're talking to Ref right now. Ref wishes that was him. He thinks it's him. Not. I only carry 50 at a time. I just hate that though, because like I like having rows of ammo. You know, that's why I don't carry food anymore, because I just don't really care about it. We only carried it today so we could get some more lures, but I didn't even need to do that. So it's just kind of like a useless item in a sense, but then I feel bad when I don't use it. But then every time I actually see a flare... Oh my god, oh my god. Every time I see a flare, it's always like despawned anyway. And even if I carry them, you do realize if I carry flares, I just will forget to use them. I will forget to use them. Oh my god, there are so many over here. Hello? Oh my god. So many of them. Twitch YA does let's have a look at the pouch much. Yeah, I'll just forget to use them, and then I'll feel even worse because I had the intention to, but then I just didn't. You know. Okay, the will-o-wisps actually do spawn around here, which is nice. Actually, really nice. Okay, let's tidy this up a little bit. Real quick. Okay. Yeah, your character's bugged. It has like an arrow coming out of the hand. Some excuses teach him to switch and put flares in your pack. Oh my god. Ah. I try. My brain goes like 1,000 miles per hour, by the way. Like, the funniest thing is, a lot of people will say, oh, coffee, like, wakes me up. Coffee doesn't wake me up. Instead, it just makes me go to sleep, and my brain shuts up for, like, an hour. That's why I drink coffee, not to wake me up. I started drinking it before stream instead of in the morning, and it keeps me going throughout stream better. When the brakes on it, teacher the switch. Oh my god. I'll keep saying I'll try my best, but then it's just like I forget again. Thing is as well, like, I'll teach her how to like use the Switch. It'll take me like another couple of weeks to actually get her to play PALIA like on her own. It might be like a month of lessons before she's like off soloing without any help. But hey, she's teaching herself guitar right now and she's not doing too bad, so. Like, I'm still waiting for my guitar to show up. And it's driving me insane because I really want to play, but I just don't have it. And it's like, I know I still have to like learn stuff, but I know how to play a guitar. I just don't know how to do certain stuff. Because I played one for like years, but I never played it properly. I only learned so many stuff. And so now like, when I get it, I know I can just pick it up and play it, essentially. But I don't have it yet, because I had to get a cool one that had to be like made per order. So I had to wait a month for it. I still gotta wait 3 weeks. 3 weeks! Still gotta wait 3 weeks for it to turn up. Oh no, the frogs are back. Yeah, not in the same way though. The frogs last time, Jack, were different. They were very expensive ones that you got a lot of money for. And they were glitched. This time there are plushies for catching these. And they're not glitched. They're just like normal. That's why we're doing it. We're doing it for the plushies. Because we have IRL ones, but we don't have them in-game. There's only one way to really learn PALIA, that's to play it, and then... But she can't play it because someone hasn't taught her how to use... I gotta teach her, like, how to do certain stuff, though. This is the problem. And she might not even be able to play it yet. Because she gets motion sickness, and, like, certain things, like, she's watched me try and play Fortnite before. And she cannot, for the life of her, even think of playing something like that. Not because of what the game is, but because of how it makes her feel sick. So it's like, yeah, that's the situation. It's kind of like, she might not even be able to play it yet. So we can be wishful. But we do not know yet. And guess where I'm going tonight for our last night? I have no idea. You know I don't know geography, right? I have no idea where you even are right now. I got a G in geography GCSE. Okay. I know like 5, maybe 10 countries at most. Sometimes there's a difference between watching it and playing it. True. True. We'll see. I'll update you guys. I'll update you guys when it happens. Look at me hints. It's a place where certain women die. Jack. Jack, this is not the place. Not the crime face. Oh my god. Get out. When you try and focus on everything where you're playing, you need to turn it. Yeah. I mean, I think when... I don't know, it's stuff like bug hunting and like hunting in general, I think might be a problem. But I don't even know what she would rather do. I don't know what her favorite skill's gonna be. I'm curious, but I don't know what she's gonna end up choosing to do more. It won't be cooking, I'll tell you it right now, it will not be cooking. It will definitely not be that. I hear cooking. It's just so difficult to do. We're getting a lot of will-o-wisp right now. Is anyone else actually not struggling to find these anymore? Like, they don't seem as rare as they were supposed to be. Because we seem to be getting quite few. Like, how many are we at? We've gotten, like, a decent amount. Like, we're not struggling to find them. For bombs, you just pick up the bags. Good point! Good point! I didn't think about it like that. She could just follow you around. I actually kind of like the idea of that. Oh. Have we still not gotten a frog plushie yet? This is ridiculous. Are you down to play Fortnite when I'm back, by the way? Yes, if I'm like free to whenever it is. It's more likely that I'll play on a Sunday afternoon than anything else. But yes. Yes. I've only really been playing ranked. And that's it. But honestly, ranked is so slow because no one's even playing it right now. Oh, we got one! I was so distracted I didn't even realize I got one. I picked it up, I picked it up, I picked it up. Oh my god. Do I end stream on that note? Because I don't know if I want to like push my luck or not. I think we end on a good note. I don't want to say, here, we got a plush, let's try for more. That never works well for me. But like that would be greedy, right? No. I only have 15 minutes. Cause I gotta go eat. I gotta go eat. Do we do one more? Let's just put one more down. Let's put one more down. We want you to stay. I wish I could stay the whole time. We'll do one more, because Raz put one down. We can't say no if there's already one put down. I don't know if anything is happening tomorrow or not. I might have an appointment in the morning, but I should be fine to stream. There shouldn't be any reason why I don't stream, I don't think. Hydration. Oh, not when I'm doing the frogs. Oh my god. Okay. Damn it. This is why I don't let it be an infinite thing. Do it at the wrong time. It's okay. We have Raz doing it too. Oh my god. So many of them. Wait, this place is actually a lot better because there's no other bugs, really. Which is good. I clicked on the wrong teleport, so it looks like I'm going to go to the market. Oh, I hate that. That is a big pet peeve right now. Like, they move it down so the Elderwood isn't where it would normally be, so you accidentally click the market. I don't know why they do that. There's no reason for it. There's just no reason for it. Okay. There's a couple more bugs spawning now and again, but it's nowhere near as much as usual. Because there it is. It's really annoying. It's like they could just put it underneath and then it would be like in the usual place. But they like move it for some reason. So that then it confuses people. Like why? Why would you do that? I don't understand the logic. God, I can never tell which ones are what. Which are which. Yeah, the logical thing would be put the market at the bottom because it's not always there. Leave the Elderwood where it is. I did that on day 2, I think. When the first time they put the market in after the Elderwood's update, they moved it. And I had like a very long wait time. Like a very long. Okay. I might do one more. Just because I have a little bit of space left. If you want. But just one more. Because I need to go eat. It's up to you. want to break your back again? Oh, good point. Think I should leave it. I don't have any pallium. Okay, we'll leave it then. I'll go and do pallium at the beginning of the next stream. And then we can make sure we can repair the bag. I don't know if we're going to do frogs tomorrow, but we might. We might. But thank you for the list, though. I appreciate it. You've been a great help. You got me the plush. Thank you. But yeah, I need to go repair the I need to go repair it before we forget. 14 ahead of me. Go teach him on the Switch. My mum is busy right now. My mum is busy right now. And I'm going to be busy after this. So not today. If I even going to teach her anything, it's going to be in the morning. So if she wants me to teach her, she got to get up early. I'm just saying. We just need this guy. Let's get him out again with Lush. Where is he? Here he is. And then let's sell these. And then we'll have a little look at him. How much does this make? 18,000? Okay. Not bad, not bad. Let's look at this guy. Let's put him up here and look at him. Can I put him up? Oh, why can't I put him there? It's okay. We'll put him here. Look at him. He's not grumpy. Why is he called grumpy? He's smiling. He's a liar. He's lying. Excuses, excuses. No, I just have actually got a schedule these days, and compared to like a year ago, I would have just done it whenever a year ago. I actually have a schedule now. Oh my god, look. He's not grumpy. That's a lie. Whoever called this guy grumpy was lying. He's cute. I'm gonna find a little home for him quick. Where can he go? With his friends. Look, he fits in, right? He fits in, right? Maybe he's grumpy on the inside. Good point. He's like the opposite of me. His face doesn't show it. Mine does. Let me... I'm sure you can bend the schedule. No, I can't. I'm so behind on things. I have like, honestly, you guys don't realize I'm trying to upload all my VODs to YouTube. Okay. And I'm behind. Very behind. On like a week's worth of VODs. And it's not easy to like catch up on. 18k in frogs? Yes. Let's go. Let's go. We've made like... Ow! Yes. Okay. I don't think YouTube's going to vanish. Yeah, but I'm behind. I like to upload them the day after I've streamed. So that they're relevant. And they're all muddled up and I am so confused. I will get around to doing it. I will update on stream when I do. But it just depends on my schedule. Anyway, I'm going to leave stream there because I'm hungry. And I have pasta to go cook. And pasta is amazing, but it takes a hot second to cook. So maybe 10 minutes, but it doesn't actually take 10 minutes. 10 years later. I will do it, I promise. Let me just double check. I do have an appointment tomorrow, right? Or is it Thursday? Yeah, it's tomorrow. So I have an appointment tomorrow at like in the morning. I should be fine to just like come home and then stream. Like it should be fine. Shouldn't be a problem. If there is a problem, I will update on Discord as usual. I'm 99% sure we are fine. So I should be live at 3 p.m. BST as normal tomorrow. And we'll probably have a look at what I need to get done. We might do frogs. We might not. Now that we have one, I can rest a little bit with it. Okay. But yeah, take care everyone. Take care everyone. Go do some self-care. And have a good rest of your day. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And good luck on getting plushies. That's all I'll say. Good luck on getting plushies. Bye.